Okay guys, so I wanted to make a quick update for Black Friday and Cyber Monday and try and advise on the plugins that I actually recommend depending on 3 factors: your level of production skill, your budget, and the genre, or genre, is that the plural of genre? Genre that you're producing. I just need a plugin to improve my French pronunciation. Anyway, I'm going to factor all of these things in whilst I'm making my recommendations, and if you want a fully updated list of all the current Black Friday plugin and software offers available at the moment, you can check out my blog post which I link to below this video. If you are just starting out, more often than not, having too many plugins will just confuse you and actually make your progress slower. Hands down, the best investment if you are just starting out is your own education. I've also got my own Black Friday and Cyber Monday offer on my courses, which again you can check out below. Okay, so first let's look at the DAW. Now, every music producer needs one of these, and you can pick up some great deals at the moment. Now, there are other really good DAWs available, like Reason, like FL Studio, like Logic, as well as Reaper, Studio One, and Pro Tools, of course. But if you're creating electronic dance music, there are so many tutorials online, much like mine, that are made using Ableton Live, but all of them are equally capable of making professional quality music. You can download a free trial of most of them, so if you can't quite make a decision, download a trial and have a play. See which one you like best. Now, in terms of plugins that are worth investing in, I would suggest getting a decent synth first and foremost. The reason being, many of the presets that come bundled with your DAW just don't sound as good as the presets you can get for premium synths. But if you're strapped for cash, you could always get Vital, which is kind of like a free competitor to Serum. And the best piece of advice I could give is find out what your favorite producers are using and just buy the same synth that they use. Some solid options: if you're making trance music, Spire or Anna 2 have got some fantastic presets available. They're very powerful synths. Pigments from Arturia, another one. If you want more of that old school classic analog synth sound, then the Arturia V collection, again that's on offer at the moment, is a solid choice if you're wanting to create synthwave or use any classic sounding synth from the last few decades. If you're creating melodic house, there's nothing better than Diva. Again, it imparts that analog warmth, and there are loads of great preset packs available. Now, if you want a good sampler, I recommend Contact by Native Instruments, but do bear in mind that you can actually pick up great sample packs for the sampler that you already have in your DAW. So if budget is very important to you, I would focus on getting a synth before a sampler. Okay, next category we're onto is the effects plugins. Now, you don't really need any of the following until you get to a certain point. So if you're in your first 6 months to a year of producing and you don't understand how all your stock devices work that came with your DAW, spending money on these third-party effects is more likely going to confuse you rather than just finding out how to use everything you already own as well as possible. And if you want help with that, I recommend checking out my courses, which are going to teach you everything you need to know about music production with the plugins you already own. And again, there's a discount available at the moment using the link below. But saying you do understand what a saturator does, what a reverb unit does, what a delay unit does, etc., and how to use them as well as possible, then it is worth investing in some premium plugins that will just improve the quality of your sound. So here are my recommendations in order. After you've got your synth, the next thing I would suggest would be to get a good quality saturator. There are 3 I'm going to suggest here, the first of which isn't really a saturator so much as a harmonic exciter, but it's amazing and it's on offer at the moment. It's the Sonox Inflator. You can put it on pretty much any element of your mix or on the master bus, apply the effect, and it just makes it sound so much louder without killing the dynamics. It's fantastic. The next saturator that I think is really good and that we use a lot in my accelerator program is the Soundtoys Decapitator, or you could get the FabFilter Saturn 2, which is actually a multi-band saturator, so it gives you more control. I wouldn't worry about getting all 3 of these saturators, but the Sonox Inflator and then one of the other 2 would be a good investment. Again, they've all got discounts on at the moment. Okay, let's touch upon EQs and reverbs. Now, as I said, the stock plugins that you already have are going to do a good enough job to get to a professional level, but if you've got the budget and you want a slightly better sound, here's my recommendations. The Pro Q3 from FabFilter is an industry standard third-party transparent digital EQ with loads of features, and I did an in-depth rundown in this video here, but if you want to buy an EQ, that's going to put you in good stead. Then if you want a decent reverb, the Valhalla Room Reverb is really good. I don't think think they run any Black Friday deals, but they're not a lot of money and they've got really high quality reverbs. In terms of a second EQ, if you got the Sound Toys bundle, you actually get the decapitator and a really good analog modeled EQ in there as well, which is great for EQ boosts and cuts with a slightly warmer feel than a transparent digital EQ. But again, if you're just starting out, you've only been producing a few months, you don't really need to worry about spending money on this stuff yet. Overall, I think having one bundle of really good analog modeled plugins will impart some warmth to your music, so the Sound Toys bundle is a really good option, or Black Rooster Audio have a great selection of classic units that they've replicated. You can also get similar replications from UAD, Waves have some as well, but you don't need all of them, you just need one solid pack. And Black Rooster really do the best value in their Black Friday deal. I think it's $99 or something like that, down from a couple of thousand. So even if you're not going to hear the difference yet, at some point after you've been producing for a year or so, you will start to use these more nuanced plugins. Okay, so we've covered synths, we've covered samplers, we've covered effects plugins, and now we're on to the mastering stage. Now, in my estimation, the plugin that lets most DAWs down, the stock plugin that is their limiter. So you've got a couple of options here. You can either invest in just a limiter on its own, and I would recommend the FabFilter Pro L2 for that. Again, they have an offer on at the moment. Or you can invest in an entire mastering suite like the Isotope Ozone suite. If you have got Isotope Ozone, I do not recommend buying another limiter. It's just doubling it up because there's already a really good limiter in the Ozone suite. But if you're strapped for budget and you don't want to splash for a whole mastering suite, the FabFilter Pro L2 is the best limiter that I've found on the market today. Okay, so let's recap. If you've been producing for less than a year, I would suggest just getting one good synthesizer. If you've been producing for 6 months to over a year and you're a bit more comfortable with what everything does, then get a decent saturator. Next thing I would spend my money on would be a good limiter. And then finally, if you've been producing for over a year, more nuanced controlled plugins like the Gullfoss, tools like Melodyne, and a good analog model plugin bundle like Black Rooster Audio will put you in good stead, because your ear should be at the level where you can actually use these tools effectively and understand what they're doing to your music. Anyway, I do hope you found this useful. As I said, you can check out the entire list of plugins, software, and equipment deals available on the internet using the link below, and you can check out the discounts on the EDM tips courses as well. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you next week. Until then, cheers and happy producing.